How can you make millions from the huge crash ahead? For beginners, okay? So maybe you don't believe there's a crash coming. Well, don't believe me. Warren Buffett says it's happening. Author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki says it's going to be worse than 2008 and 9. Elon Musk has said, richest man in the world, has said we're heading for a big crash. And he says it's necessary because there's so many businesses not making money that this is going to be a big one. So let me ask you a question. Is it time to be afraid or to be scared? No, it's a time to get super freaking excited, right? You know, I don't know if you've heard the Warren Buffett quote, which is, be fearful when others are greedy. Okay, well, people have been really greedy the last few years. I mean, we've been close on buying properties, and when I see what they sold for, I'm like, are you kidding me? How the heck did they pay that much? There's no way they're going to make that work. Okay, so again, be fearful when others are greedy. Well, the train has stopped, okay? I don't know if you know, the interest rate's gone up, really literally doubled in the last 90 days. So now people are becoming fearful. And the second part of that quote is be greedy when others are fearful, okay? Now let me explain some of the reasons I think we're going to see some incredible opportunity in the commercial multifamily space. Well, first of all, a lot of operators have just been so aggressive in their numbers where they're calculating the money they can make on a deal, their pro formas. I mean, I've seen pro formas where they say the rents are going to double year one. I don't think so, okay? I see, you know, that they are anticipating a 10% rent increase for the next 5 years after the rent doubles the first year. I don't think so, okay? And a lot of these operators are going to get in trouble. But I think what's really going to kill a lot of operators is bridge debt, okay? So what's bridge debt? Okay, bridge debt in commercial real estate is like the hard money lender equivalent that you might know in the single family space. You know, if you've ever borrowed hard money to buy a house, a rental property, a flip or something like that, bridge debt is that type of loan in the commercial space. Higher interest rate, higher loan to value, okay? But they're short-term loans, like anywhere from 12 months to 18 months to maybe 36 months, okay? They were put into place, see, they've been abused the last couple of years, but originally they were put into place to bridge the gap if you bought a property that was like, you know, rough shape, that needed a lot of work, or maybe it wasn't stabilized, so it didn't have the occupancy that you needed to get the debt that you want, you know? For example, to get conforming Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac debt, you need to be 90% occupied for 90 days. And so, you know, people would use bridge debt to bridge that gap, and then they would ultimately refinance into the more long-term debt, right? But the problem is, because bridge debt is a higher loan to value. See, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is probably the bulk of the loans in this space, recognized that the market was getting too heated, and they dropped the loan to value to 55, 60% for a good bit of time. So you really had to come up with a lot of cash to do a deal. And your returns on that cash didn't look as good, because the more money you have to put in a deal, the harder it is to get higher level of returns for your investors. I know I'm probably making some of you cross-eyed here, but the more money you've got out of pocket into a deal, again, the harder it is to have double-digit returns on your money. You know, like there's cash-on-cash return. So let's say, for example, you're putting $100,000 into a property and you make $10,000 net profit year one. That's a 10% cash-on-cash return. And so investors want to see returns, decent returns. And so, you know, the more money in a deal, the harder it is to get those lower returns. Well, bridge debt loans, you know, they were doing 75% loan to value, even 75% loan to cost. So meaning, you know, you could buy a property and they would wrap in the renovation costs, for example, to fix the property up. They'd get a higher loan to value and they'd have less money in the deal, so the returns look better. Okay, they were being super aggressive. But see, remember this. These loans are adjustable rate mortgage as well. I mean, they're adjustable rate interest rate, okay? The rates are going to go up, and back over a year ago, you didn't have to buy a rate cap, an interest rate cap, meaning that, you know, that you're buying you're paying to make sure the interest rate doesn't go over a certain percent. Like, I'll tell you, we were looking at a deal here in Sarasota, a $44 million deal, and the rate cap, to keep the rate from going up 2%, was $1 million, okay? It's just insane, okay? So that's a very recent phenomenon, but that wasn't the case 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And there were operators that weren't getting rate caps, and the rates have freaking doubled. So they're going to get in trouble. Here's another thing. Again, these loans are short term. And so they have to refinance, these operators have to refinance to get out of these loans. And so recognize that very often in their pro formas, they were calculating, you know, much lower interest rates in their what would be called takeout financing, the loan they're going to get to pay off this bridge debt. and they're not going to be able to refinance. Because, and here's another problem, because values are likely going to go down. They're already going down. I mean, I'm seeing it. That $44 million deal we could have got for 38, we still passed. But the point is, values are already going down, and if the interest rates are going up, they may not be able to have enough debt service coverage to pay the debt. Okay, banks want to see the property's ability to service the debt, and with those higher loan to values and property values going down, again, another problem. So, because things were so aggressive these last couple of years, and this bridge debt is adjustable, and there's a lot of them without caps, even the ones bought with caps could be in trouble if they didn't calculate their exit properly, okay? And so, anyway, I know that we're going to see a major crash. I believe a lot of these deals are going to be in trouble, and that means incredible opportunity for those of us that are prepared, guys, okay? So if there was ever a time to learn this business, it is right now. And I don't care if you learn from me, but learn it now, because if you try to learn it in the midst of the recession, it's going to be too late. Now, if you want to learn from me, I've got a 3-day boot camp coming up in Denver the end of July, the 29th, 30th, and 31st, and you can come for $197. Yes, you heard me right, for 3 days, and it's not a sales pitch. And I teach you this business soup to nuts, how to build a team, because this business is a team sport, how to pick a market, how to evaluate that market, how to find deals, all the deals you'll need, and how to analyze those deals and do due diligence on them, and how to underwrite them, and how to finance them, get debt, because that's a little tough right now. You've got to be able to know how to deal with banks and credit unions. We teach you all that stuff, how to syndicate a deal if you want to do that, how to joint venture. How to talk to investors. I'm going to spend some time on that because, a lot of fear right now out there. And this business, the beautiful thing about this business is, yes, these deals take money, but it doesn't have to be your own money. But you're going to have to be able to show people, or coddle people so they're not fearful in what's coming. Because, of course, the media will make it seem much worse than it is. Like back in 2008 and 2009, they said real estate was going to be terrible for 10 years, which was just BS. And it'll be like that again. So you need to know how to talk to investors. I'm going to spend time teaching you that. Teach you property management, asset management, on and on. And if you know me, I'm going to spend time on mindset as well. There's a reason my students are so incredibly successful. So again, click on the link below. You'll get the code to come for $197. The price is almost double that now. In fact, it's going up to $700 in a few days. But click on that. You can come for $197. It's truly a no-brainer. And again, I don't care if you learn from me, but don't let this opportunity pass. You have an opportunity right now to create legacy wealth for yourself, for your kids, for their kids, and their kids. Seriously. I mean, exponential wealth if you take advantage of what's coming right now. So, don't be wishing a couple years from now that you'd taken action and hadn't taken action to learn this, because again, a lot of people are saying the greatest transfer of wealth in our history is happening right now. So, and again, if you're going to try to learn this in the midst of it, it's going to be too late, because you've got to build relationships. You've got to, learn this business, and it's going to take a little time. Anyway, I hope I see you in Denver. I promise you'll be glad you came. In fact, if you come and afterwards you let me know you didn't love it, I'll give you your money back. And I don't mean like it. I mean freaking love it. It's never happened, but there's a first time for everything. And I get people, we send a survey right after the event on Monday, and typically the only complaint we get is the room was too cold, because I like it cold, or the food sucked at the hotel, or whatever. It's never about the content. But anyway, I hope I see you in Denver. And if not, I hope you go learn this somewhere else so you can go capitalize on what's coming. Take care.